Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. In this episode, we are getting ready for the swap. We're getting everything ready to do the swap. So stay tuned. Oh, and we're a little behind on editing, and it's not snowing in April. Alright guys, welcome back. We got snow outside, which is weird. Alright, today is a big day because I gotta get everything ready for moving the engine over here. So the paint has dried, clear coat has dried, and oh my, it looks good. Look at this. Just marvelous work. But I got so much stuff that I need to paint and prepare before doing the engine swap. Got this big list. Well, it's not big, but I need to get oil pan bolts. I need bulk nuts, new starter, and make a dust cover for the clutch. So that's this right here. My oil pan bolts are gonna be this size, because the originals are too long because of it's a big spacers in between them. So I need to go with something smaller like this. Then I also need to get a whole bunch of bolts like these, because these things look like crap. Or nuts, I mean. They go like, I got tape right here, but they go like right there. And I can't have this, like, it's too dirty. So I was just gonna go buy a whole bunch of new ones. So I'm gonna take this with me, this with me. Then the other thing I need to do is make another plate like this. So I'm gonna go try to find a thin piece of metal where I can just trace this out and drill it out. Then I also want to paint these because so they look fresh. Then I also gotta pick up some of these bolts. Look at this, they're like 40 years old almost. So I'm gonna get a bulk of these because most of the car is just they use the same bolts and nuts throughout the car. So I'm gonna get a bulk of these, bulk of nuts. Then I also got these brackets right here that I need to get painted. These brackets right here, and like there's brackets all over the place. Like all this stuff is from the front. Like I want to wire brush this, primer, spray it with some fresh paint, and also like this stain I want to spray it with some paint too. And so today the main focus is go buy all this stuff and spray all the brackets, all the stuff that goes back onto the bay, and just get everything prepared. So once I pull the engine, I give it a wash, give it whatever I need, and I can just put it straight in here and just start bolting everything. I wouldn't have to stop and be like, oh, I want to clean this up or this up. So for the majority of things, it is all. Oh, I also wanted to paint these black so they can go with along with this, because I already painted this black. So I want to paint this piece black, this piece black, and this piece black that is underneath here. And so yeah, so I'm gonna go down to the store and pick up all the parts. This is how rare it snows in Washington. I mean, where I live at least. I'm gonna use some cardboard to get the snow off my windshield, because I don't even have a snow scrape, whatever, ice scraper broom thing. All right, got the window cleaned, first time of the year. Time to go buy all the parts. Alright guys, I am back, and this is all I got right here. I picked up a new bench grinder, because this one sucks. It's broken, and so I want to use the wire brush to brush all the brackets before I primer and paint them. So Harbor Freight, don't let me down. And then I got all this fun stuff over here, so we're gonna open it up and I'll show you what I got. And just, all right, look at this. I got more paint. So all these brackets, like, I got a lot of them, but just for example, these brackets, they are dirty, and I want to give them a nice brushing, and then I want to spray all of them low gloss black, because the high gloss black is not my favorite look, so I want to try it with this one. And so I'm gonna go and spray every single bracket, including this one and this one, low gloss black. So that's the plan for the paint. I also got some weather strip tape. That's for the brake booster, brake cleaner, some cups, sticks, tape. Picked up a new starter. Here's the old one, here's a new one. Once the engine goes in, I do not want to have an issue with my starter a month later, so I just picked up a new one. Also, I picked up all these brand new washers, bolts, little bolts, nuts, and more bolts. So the original, this is what it looks like. And so, like, this is what holds the bracket, this bolt right here. So if I paint this and then I put this bolt next to it, I mean, that looks terrible. And especially like on this super clean engine bay. So the idea is to, like, just look at that. Look how pretty that is. So I went all out and got a whole bunch of brand new nuts, bolts, and all this fun stuff. Picked up a sheet of metal. Hopefully it fits, and it doesn't quite. It might fit. It'll work. I don't really need this bolt. So as long as I get this part covered, this is where the bell housing goes and where I have the empty space. So I should be able to make something work out of that. It's just a tiny strip of, it's like 22 gauge metal. Sandpaper and a new grinder. Got it all clamped down. I swapped the wire brush from that thing to a wire brush, and I also got some tarps. So I'm gonna take this thing, push it back, put a tarp on the back. That way the snow, rain, whatever's going on the outside will not get it wet. And so I'm gonna start off by painting this side. So while I paint this, it can dry and I can work on all the brackets. I also need to paint all these stuff, engine mounts, clean up this alternator bracket, clean up all these engine mounts, these ones, all these brackets, like the oil pan, just clean up everything and get it all ready so I can start putting it all back together. All right guys, so I taped everything off. I'm gonna spray all that with undercoat, and the other stuff, this stuff right here and those brackets, I'm gonna spray with this low gloss black. And so they're almost done warming up, and I'm gonna spray that and let it dry, and then move on to the brackets. I already brushed one little bracket right here, and look at that big difference it makes. Just giving it a brush and then a little quick paint job, and this thing's gonna be looking like $1 million, almost 40-year-old $1 million. All right, so I spray that, that, and that. So I'm gonna let it dry. I'm gonna give it 10-15 minutes, and I will come back and give a second layer. But in the meantime, I'm gonna start cleaning these brackets up. All right, so while that dries, I gotta clean up this oil pan, clean up the welds, put a little bit of Bando, smooth it out. That way it's nice and smooth. Then I'm gonna primer it and paint it. I'm gonna do that first. Then I gotta clean up these engine mounts, and that one, and then the bracket. So I'm gonna start with the stuff that's most important, like the oil pan, engine mounts, and then work towards the stuff that's not that important, because just in case I have issues, I mean, that stuff shouldn't take any, it just takes time. There shouldn't be any issues there. Here it's gonna take a little bit of time, and then trying to cut this out and all this other stuff. So first thing first, I'm gonna work on those engine mounts, clean them up, and primer them, and then let it dry, and then work on this. All right, so the engine mounts are ready to be primered. I'm waiting for that to dry. So now I'm gonna work on this. So this is gonna be the Flywheel dustpan. So I have to cut one out. like that. Alright guys, check it out. It's like almost original. It has a little tab on there too. Just like that one. Boom. Yeah, the moment of truth. Look at that. So over here it's kind of on the edge, but there's no gaps. And that's our biggest concern because it's a dust cover. So we're gonna have a few bolts holding it up top, one on the bottom, and guidelines on the sides. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So I'm happy with it. Alright, so I got my oil pan. I send the whole thing down and I'm gonna primer the whole thing. And I also gonna primer this, and this. So I got a little system set up here. I'm gonna spray some primer on, and then I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna paint it everything one color. So I'm gonna let all this dry, and then I'm gonna go and take all that wheel assembly apart and get ready to clean up the crossbar, paint the other engine mounts, the bushings where it sets the second parts. Alright, so I got this bar, and the idea is to clean it up, paint these engine mounts also, take them off, clean them up, paint them, and then I want to clean this whole bar because it looks like crap. Alright guys, so I sprayed these whatever parts, and for some reason I got this weird reaction. So it's supposed to be like that, like matte black, kind of semi-gloss, or like this right here, but I got this weird reaction, and like it's supposed to be like this kind of. So I'm gonna let it dry completely, and I'll come back. It's already late, and I will sand it and respray it. So I'll just 600 sand and then spray again and see what happens. I also got that plate painted from the bell housing. This plate, the one that goes on the torque tube, and then I got these two engine mounts painted, the ones that go on the other side of those, and I start cleaning the brackets. But it's already late. It's almost 10 o'clock. This stuff is like, all these stuff is just tedious and takes forever. And like surprises like this, they just happen. And I'm kind of disappointed, but at the same time, it's not gonna get me anywhere. So we're just gonna let it dry, come back, fix it up. I'm planning to pull the engine on Monday, so I'll do this in the morning. I'll sand it all down, give it another coat, and then go pull the engine. Other than that, I pretty much got most of the stuff. I mean, the most important thing is that thing right there, the crossbar. I'm gonna use a power washer to wash it. So is that bracket over there for the alternator. My wonderful bench grinder made it for 2 hours. It is dead. It doesn't want to work no more. Thanks a lot, Harbor Freight. But gonna have to go return it and get a new one, because I need to still clean all these parts. A whole bucket of it. So yeah, that's the update. Alright guys, that is it for this episode. We got a lot of things done, and a lot of this stuff is tedious, time consuming, must have to be done kind of things, where it just, yeah. Anyway, but I got some reactions going, which happens. It's nothing unordinary. Probably the temperature, since it was snowing that day. But anyway, the whole point is, a lot of this stuff takes a lot of time, and might be really boring to some people. Might be definitely boring for me, but it has to be done. But a lot of it got done today, and so we're gonna pretty much ready for the swap. So in the next episode, we're gonna pull the engine and throw it into the Porsche. But yeah, if you guys liked the episode, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, and we'll see you next time.